What's up, guys? Dusty Shaw, Holistic Fitness and Nutrition, here to answer a few of your questions. My previous video, if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It's the graphic overdose and near-death experience video I shared. It's got a lot of, it's been getting a lot of traction and got a lot of feedback from it, which has been nice because, as you know, my original channel, I got up to almost 80K subscribers. I was really shooting for that 100K where you get the silver plaque, and it wasn't, it just seems like once that I got monetized, it wasn't long after they just started hitting me with strike after strike. So it's nice to finally, I had to start over from scratch, which sucks, but I wasn't gaining traction right off the bat, but that video seemed to do well, so that's kind of encouraged me to jump back on this full-fledged and figured out next best video is to answer some of the questions I got on it. So if you haven't watched the video, you really need to go back and watch it to understand this one. Quick recap: went through about 8 years of intense substance abuse disorder. My DOC was opiates and benzos. So that started out with pain medication after I tore my knee in my last fight. Then I added benzodiazepines like Xanax to it. And, those were my two DOCs, but I've tried just about everything. I never messed, I don't like smoking things. So I never messed with crack. I never smoked meth. I've done it other ways. I was an IV user, but I didn't like stimulants. I like downers. Downers actually give me more energy. Stimulants, the main reason I use is because of an anxiety disorder. So stimulants are not my DOC. The only way I would do them is when I mixed them. So we would call it speedballing back in the day when it was coke and heroin, and goofballs when it was amphetamines and heroin. But yeah, not a fan of stimulants. And the drug I hate worse than anything is, besides the paranoia and anxiety that comes from stimulants, is actually cannabis. And this is why I say there is no bad drug. I mean, if you wanted to make an argument, alcohol, clearly, statistically, the worst drug, as the #1 common denominator in murders and violent crimes is alcohol. All right, you don't see anyone do a shot of dope or take a Xanax that chills them out and go out and get violent and reckless and kill people. All right, so alcohol is the worst. And again, the only two withdrawals you can die from is alcohol and benzos. All right, so, but as funny as it sounds, for most people, cannabis is one of the safest drugs. For me personally, it is the worst substance I could possibly take. There is nothing. I've got a lot of experience with hallucinogens, from starting out with psilocybin mushrooms to LSD to DMT. I've done just about all of them, short of going and doing ibogaine proper, which is the next thing I want to do in a clinical setting with a doctor and shaman. But the thing with cannabis is it just, the slightest hit gives me the worst anxiety, panic attack, and it literally puts me in like a schizophrenic state where the only thought that I have stuck in my mind is, what if I'm stuck like this and can never come out? So this is why I tell you, there's no one drug is bad. It depends on how that drug interacts with that person based on their mental health issues and life experiences. But what I really want to talk about here is how I was able to get off of them. So I'm going to take a quick pause right here and start back, and we'll go over my exact method to getting off these substances. Sorry about that. So just as a disclaimer, obviously I'm not a medical doctor. I did study psych. I never majored or finished a degree in it, but I did study it, and I've done a lot more study on my own. My wife's a therapist who just finished her master's and is going to pursue her doctorates in this. So it is something and not to mention all my experience with various facilities and psychiatrists. I think I got a decent read on it, And experience will teach you a lot more than anything you can read in a book, but it's best when you can have both. But I'm going to tell you, for me, if you're coming off stimulants, amphetamines, cocaine, cannabis, any of these bowel drugs, MDMA, you just need to suck it up and quit being a bitch, basically, because, you know, take it from somebody who's been through real withdrawals. There's no physical withdrawals like talking about from those. There's no reason you can't just man up and come off of those. If you say you're struggling coming off those, and I don't mean it in a derogatory way, but you just haven't experienced real withdrawal. You are just battling a mental desire, and I'm not downplaying that. That can be very difficult and mentally consuming, but that is nothing like coming off opiates and benzos when you can't sleep for 6 months, and whenever you do fall asleep for a few minutes, you wake up in a seizure, and you know that benzo withdrawal can kill you, and you're teetering back and forth from something of intense anxiety and approximating a pure panic attack. That's withdrawal. That's real physical dependency. And when you know that you could die from it, that's a whole other level. So I don't have much sympathy for those that talk about, oh, I'm addicted to weed. Weed's not addictive. You may mentally desire it, but you're not going to have physical dependency or withdrawal. Cocaine, no physical dependency or withdrawal. Same thing with amphetamines. Now, if you take, say, Adderall or one of these ADHD medications and you have a bad case of it, the withdrawals from the medication aren't bad, but it could flare up your mental health. So these things are very nuanced. But I'm going to speak on my experience. I did go through periods of, like I said, when I did, I've tried everything. And so, but I could do, you know, the longest stretch of me ever using stimulants. I could stop it just like that without a single withdrawal. It was nothing. Opiates and benzos, another story. I've never been an alcoholic. Never even drank 2 days of my life. I think I've drank once in the past 5 years. Alcohol is just not my thing. All right, but if you get bad enough on alcohol, most people don't experience withdrawal, but if you get bad enough, alcohol withdrawals can be very, very detrimental. Like I said, alcohol and benzos are the only two that can kill you. So for me, what I did, and I tried this many ways, failed many times. The worst thing you can ever do is do what's called a rapid detox or stop cold turkey. All right, you can be the mentally toughest person ever and push through it, but the damage you can cause to yourself, to your dopaminergic system, and these neurotransmitters, the feel-good neurotransmitters, so you stop producing dopamine naturally because you're getting it exogenous from the drugs that release it. That's why you are depressed and have low energy and don't feel good without them. All right. All drugs work on dopamine except for ecstasy. MDMA works on serotonin and dopamine, and then benzos work on GABA. And you can think of GABA kind of like a seesaw. You either have high GABA, which is rest and relaxation, the parasympathetic nervous system, or it can teeter up to low GABA and high glutamate, which will put you into the sympathetic fight or flight, which is where the high anxiety comes from, which is why a benzo will calm you down through that GABA. So, what do we need to do? Those things are depleted. If you're coming off benzos, you need to take GABA, and it seems to only cross the blood-brain barrier if you connect it with niacin. It's called like Pica Lily or something like that in Russia, where they have the drug combined, or you can just buy them separately here and take them. But you need to take very large doses of GABA. Another thing that really works is, I may have to put it in the comments as the name eludes me right now, but there is PH Fetter. I'll leave it in the comments. I don't want to butcher the name and mislead anyone. But there's another thing that could help with your GABA. As far as dopamine, the precursors to dopamine are L-tyrosine and L-dopa. If you take those two and you give the building blocks you need, that'll help it. Serotonin, the building block is 5-HTP. All right? You have to give your neurotransmitters these amino acids so that they can begin to rebuild these things. More than anything, get yourself a pair of running shoes or workout apparel and gym membership, because working out releases BDNF, brain-derived neurofactor, which will increase your neuroplasticity. You're not going to feel like it, and that's the catch-22. You have no energy to do anything. You just want to lay in bed. It's everything you can do to just crawl out and just lean to the edge and piss in a jug, or take a it's everything you can do to take a sponge bath. I mean, you're that lethargic. You're just gonna have to force it. Even if it's just getting up and walking to the end of your house and coming back. Each little win, just build upon it and build upon it. All right. Meditation. Once your cognitive function starts to rebalance, omega-3s, high quality omega-3s like the brand Nordic Natural, and I'm talking 3 grams. High doses of omega-3s are really good. NAD. If you can afford the IV infusions at a clinic, that's great. If not, you can take the various precursors like NMN, and that really helps with withdrawal and restoring vitality and energy. And the other one, the biggest one I would say, is you just have to get to a place where whatever your addiction, withdrawal, depression, anxiety is telling you, do the exact opposite. So when it says I don't feel like getting out of bed, get out of bed. When it says I don't feel like exercising, exercise. Even if it's just going for a walk. When it says I don't feel like getting out of bed outside, go get some fresh air. When it says I don't feel like doing breath work or meditation, do it. If you just simply do the opposite of what that sickness is telling you, slowly but surely as you can, you will improve. All right? And a good sobriety mentor of mine, Dan, told me, saying that came to him once, is less of what I want is more of what I need. Really need to embrace that. Reach out to someone like me or others who have been through it and have someone help you. All right? And one other thing, again, not telling you to do anything illegal. In fact, I'm not suggesting you do anything at all. I'm just telling you things that help me. But microdosing psilocybin mushrooms is being done at Johns Hopkins University and many of the top universities, and they have the highest rate, short of the Ibogaine treatment, which is in other countries, of treating anxiety, depression, PTSD, and addiction. People can do one treatment of these hallucinogens and come out with zero withdrawals and zero desire for any of their addictions. So either take the time, nerd out on the research if you're someone like me, and if you're not, then reach out to someone like me who has. All right? And that's also part of my coaching services. I write up people's custom workout and meal plans because nutrition, exercise, proper sleep, quality water, those things make a huge difference. And you're not going to have the motivation to do it. F the motivation. You don't have to feel like doing it to do it. That's our biggest problem, is when we start saying, oh, I don't feel like doing this. You don't have to feel like it to do it. It's hard. I understand. I battled through it. Reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you. I'll send you a free copy of my 30 Days to Stronger book. I've made it free on Kindle version so that anyone who wants to get clean or just get rid of any other vices or just get healthier, it's a full blueprint of my methods. And if you want me to coach you and part of your issue is dropping vices, I'll drop my prices half off for you. So as always, guys, thank you so much for the support. please like and comment to support the algorithms. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know any questions or topics you'd like to hear upcoming. Thank you. What's up, guys? Dusty Shaw, Holistic Fitness and Nutrition. Here showing you how I start every morning. And that is the beautiful sunlight. People, the modern man has gotten so far removed and detached from his vital, most fundamental needs as a human being. Everything can be broken down to sunlight. When we talk about nutrition, it's an important health marker or health implement to improving your life. But what is food? It's recycled sunlight through the plants, through the animals. One of the most important things you can do, and this is not woo-woo stuff, just like me walking here barefoot in the grass. Sorry about that. Phone cut off. One thing about the new iPhone I got, the camera button's right where I hold my thumb, so it's so easy to cut it off. But anyway, so I was talking about Indian mysticism, the mystics from India. All right, they've been talking about eating 2 meals a day, 8 hours apart for thousands of years. All right, and they don't have anywhere near the rates of cancer, autoimmune, autism, all these different things that we have, transgenderism, all these mental, physical, and autoimmune issues that we also used to didn't have magically. And all of a sudden, it just happens to coincide with there's a cat experiment where they took cats and the only thing they changed was their diet. Now, in this diet, instead of giving them their mother's milk, they gave them processed, homogenized, human consumed milk from a cow that's in the grocery store. Just that change alone in their diet, within 3 generations, because of epigenetics, these cats who had no homosexuality, no transgender issues, became overwhelmingly homosexual, were mistaken of what their gender was, and completely lost their athletic balance. You can throw a cat up in there and it will always land on its paws. You could drop it a few feet and it couldn't find its balance. Just 3 generations of the only change being changing their nursing and their feeding throughout their life from their mother's milk and natural food to what humans are consuming out of the store. All right. So even this crazy transgenderism, besides the push from the, satanic liberal party that is anti-children and anti-family, clearly, when you've got one party that is like their main thing, like one of the main things you have to be a Democrat today is to be anti-children. They're the most pro-abortion people, even late-term abortion. They believe in mutilating children through this transgenderism stuff. And none of this was going on before. And it's not going on in a lot of other countries. Even liberal Bill Maher said, I just kind of funny how I have a large social group of friends, and it's only my liberal friends that have transgender kids, and they're always bragging about it. It's all about them. They're virtue signaling. He said, but yet none of my conservative friends have transgender kids. It can't be that they're all suppressing them. No, these are extremely narcissistic, satanic, anti-family people. Excuse me. So anyway, this is the importance of nutrition. But the nutrition comes from that sunlight right there. One of the most important things you can do is, for the rest of your life, if you only make one change, wake up with the sunrise every morning. Right now, where I'm at, the sunrise is at 7 a.m. This morning it was 7:08. I rise with the sun, and the first thing I do is come outside, immediately put my bare foot in the soil and ground into the electromagnetic field, which pulls toxins out your feet, and it also energizes you through the Earth's electromagnetic field. From there, we're going to go inside, and I'm going to show you how I start my morning routine. So, my morning routine starts out with, first thing, charcoal filtered water out of my fridge. Always filtered water. Then it goes into the hydrogen bottle to hydronate the water. Look up Gary Brecka for the benefits of hydronating your water. Tremendous benefits. All right. Next thing I do is I check my fasting blood sugar, which should always be right around 80. That's what your fasting blood sugar should be. All right. I've always had good blood sugar, never had any issues because I eat right. I live right. Next thing I do is I check my blood pressure. Should be 120 over 80. You also want to check your heart rate, make sure that's right. All right. Maybe around 90, depending on, your activity. All right. Now from there, I'm going to show you my top supplements, and this is going to tie in to my previous video where I talked about my addiction. And in this video, you see the clips where I talk about how I got over it. Well, some of the supplements I'm going to share, I've literally probably got 50 supplements. I don't take 50 different supplements a day. I take on an as-need basis. I try to get most of my nutrients from whole foods. But I'm going to show you the top, 5 to 7 ones. Most important of which are going to be these two right here. You're going to need a full B complex, but it has to be a methylated B complex. Now, see if we can get it to focus in on here. I'm doing my best, guys. Not going to focus too well. Anyway, I'll read it to you. All right, it's got all your B vitamins, from theanine to riboflavin to niacin. Niacin's very important. Nicotinic acid for blood flow. Vitamin B6 is extremely important for anxiety reduction. Now, folate is something you want to stay away from. This is the problem with multivitamins, bread, and processed foods. They are loaded with folate. Our bodies cannot convert folate, so you want what is called methylfolate, which is in mine. All right. Now, moving on from there is going to be vitamin B12. You can get the injections, but if you don't have access to injections, again, it must be the methylated B12, which is methylcobalamin. All right. Because we have issues with our methylation process, which is causing a lot of these nutrient deficiencies. From there, we have biotin, which is great for your hair, skin, and nails. And if you eat raw eggs like me, the only downside to that, there's so many upsides, but the only tiny downside is it might deplete a little bit of your biotin. So just supplement with some. All right, pantheonic acid, choline. So choline trait is the focus chemical. This will help you focus. All right. Pantheon, and then inositol. Inositol is great for mental health, anxiety, depression, so forth. Next thing we're going to go through is omega-3 fish oil. As you can see here, 3,400 milligrams of omega-3, which is split into 2,000 milligrams of EPA, which is the most important, and 1,000 milligrams of DHA. That's what you want. It also has a couple thousand IUs of vitamin D3, which I have extra D3 right above it. So, between the sunlight and that, you really want to take that. All right. From there, If you happen to have any blood sugar issues, take a blood sugar support such as berberine and chromium and a glucose disposal agent. It works really well with MK677, which will stimulate your natural growth hormone. I have my testosterone prescription there. All right, but you can take HCG to stimulate your natural test if you don't want to go on hormone replacement therapy. And then creatine monohydrate, the most well-researched sports supplement there is, with TMG, trimethylglycine, coming up as the next runner-up, which is great for muscle building, fat loss, but most of all, it's the best blood pressure, hypertension supplement there is. The best drug for hypertension is Cialis. I take 10 milligrams of Cialis a day, even though I don't have hypertension issues, but just because it increases blood flow, and blood is not just blood. It contains oxygen and nutrients. The presence of oxygen is the absence of disease. All right, so we need oxygen. That's why we have to work out and do all this. But creatine monohydrate, known for its muscle building and increased reps and endurance. It's a great sports supplement, but what we now found out is that it has tremendous cognitive benefits. All right. Also, if you are increasing your testosterone or you want to boost your immune system, zinc is very good for that. All right. And one other blood sugar supports apple cider vinegar. All right. Now, cheap meal preps. I buy organic chicken fresh from local butchers, but if you're on a budget and time crunch, you can buy organic white chicken meat for $1 to $2, and it's organic, and a thing of white rice for less than $1 when you buy them in a big pack. So that right there, let's see here, 25 grams of protein just in this one little can. So 2 of these cans would give you your 50 grams of protein per meal. And then, your rice you want to get close. If you're trying to put on muscle, you want to eat about equal carbs to your protein. So 50 grams of rice with it. If you're trying to lose weight, then substitute the rice for some vegetables. All right. Now, the top 3 things I want to tell you to stay away from. Nicotine, which I do not do. I just tried this one time because I've done every drug there is just about in the world except nicotine. I still haven't tried tobacco, but I tried Zen, which is just pure nicotine, just natural nicotine, nothing else. All right, I tried it because in low doses, taken once in a blue moon can work like choline for focus. I just wanted to try it because I've helped clients quit worse habits with tobacco by using Zen. But the problem with nicotine, particularly tobacco, is they are vasoconstrictors, meaning they restrict your blood flow, increase hypertension. So stay away from that. And even more importantly, the Keurig. Stay away from caffeine. Caffeine is a vasoconstrictor. That's why if you get a pre-workout, make sure it does not have caffeine, or if it does, no more than 100 milligrams, and it has at least 100 milligrams of theanine to combat the vasoconstriction, as well as pump agents like citrulline, agmatine sulfate, and so forth. But Cialis is the best pre-workout. It's going to beat anything else. And of course, you're going to need you a Vitamix, all right, to blend up your protein shakes. Use egg whites instead of milk with your pure whey isolate protein powder. And if you want to make smoothies, with vegetables and fruits, it's great to have. So anyway, guys, this is just a quick run through of the basics. These are not only going to help you increase your fitness, but if you are coming off of drugs or alcohol, these are going to, particularly the B vitamins and omega-3s, are going to be the best things, because the dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, and epinephrine, all the feel-good neurotransmitters that are depleted from drugs, these B vitamins, particularly the B6 and B12, are the ones that will help, are the building blocks for your dopamine, 5-HTP for your serotonin, and you can get oxytocin just by connecting with other people or ordering it. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to show you a great morning start, and I missed one of the most important, which is a Celtic sea salt. All right, get a big old thing of Celtic sea salt, or the next best one is Baja Gold. First thing in the morning, filter water, hydrogenate it, and then add some Celtic sea salt or Baja Gold, as it contains over 90 essential minerals to mineralize the body with high quality filtered water in the morning. And this is one of the just basic stacks of human health and evolution.